Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Haley Potter in for Emily Matson this week. As we celebrate Women's History and Virgin Islands History Month, a St. Thomas woman is making a big mark in the territory. Attorney Tina Commission is now officially the new CEO of the Schneider Regional Medical Center. The appointment comes almost 20 years in the making when she was first started at the hospital as an intern. She's worked in numerous positions over the years, including as an attorney, the St. Thomas native, and All Saints School grad. Shares her journey to CEO with USVI News' Ali Bornvanak.
I've had the pleasure of growing up and working in Schneider Regional for many years. I started here almost 20 years ago as an intern, and I've worked in a variety of different capacities at Schneider, from special projects coordinator to legal counsel, being a member of our senior executive team for the past 7 years. And so now sitting in the CEO spot, working with a really talented team of executives. We have 5 major areas of strategic focus that we're looking at to make our good hospital even better. And so we are working on financial improvements, particularly within our revenue cycle. We're working on
This is USVI News, your Virgin Islands connection.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us for USVI News. I'm Haley Potter in for Emily Matson this week. As we celebrate Women's History and Virgin Islands History Month, a St. Thomas woman is making a big mark in the territory. Attorney Tina Commission is now officially the new CEO of Schneider Regional Medical Center. The appointment comes almost 20 years in the making when she was first started at the hospital as an intern. She's worked in numerous positions over the years, including as an attorney, the St. Thomas native, and All Saints School grad. Shares her journey to CEO with our USVI News' Ali Bornvanak.
I've had the pleasure of growing up and working in Schneider Regional for many years. I started here almost 20 years ago as an intern, and I've worked in a variety of different capacities at Schneider, from special projects coordinator to legal counsel, being a member of our senior executive team for the past 7 years. And so now sitting in the CEO spot, working with a really talented team of executives. We have 5 major areas of strategic focus that we're looking at to make our good hospital even better. And so we are working on financial improvements, particularly within our revenue cycle. We're working on improving our supply chain management. We're really interested in improving our permanent staffing and increasing our permanent staffing, retaining who we have, and recruiting more talented individuals to join our team. We're constantly doing facility improvements, and so we want to continue that as one of our areas of strategic focus. The support has been awesome and amazing, and I'm really thankful for all the support and encouragement. It's nice being a Virgin Islander, being back home, working within my community, helping to take care of the health of our residents, something I've always wanted to do and I've always worked towards. And so it's really a good feeling. I think knowing our culture, really having a good handle on our organization, knowing our staff, understanding our challenges and our opportunities puts me in a unique position to be able to be successful and to help our hospital be successful.
And now on to the latest with the war in Ukraine. 2 weeks into Russia's invasion of Ukraine, there's still no end in sight. New satellite images show the 40-mile-long convoy of Russian forces north of Kyiv has split up and redeployed into more aggressive positions closer to the city. A U.S. official believes Russian troops could encircle the capital within 1 or 2 weeks. In some cities not yet reached by the war, they are piling sandbags around monuments and safeguarding landmarks. But in Mariupol, it's a warning of what may be ahead. Heavy shelling has destroyed homes, schools, and hospitals. Russia has called a UN Security Council meeting Friday to discuss what it called, quote, the military biological activities of the U.S. on the territory of Ukraine. A spokeswoman for the U.S. UN mission dismissed this claim. Meantime, President Biden is expected to announce the U.S. will suspend normal trade relations with Russia, which will allow for tariffs on Russian imports. And as we mentioned, we're now heading into the 3rd week of the Russian attacks on Ukraine. And Ukraine's president accuses Russian President Vladimir Putin of war crimes. Our Washington, D.C. correspondent Rachel Knapp has that story.
The Russian attack on Ukraine continues. International leaders and congressional members are outraged over reports of a recent Russian attack on a maternity and children's hospital in southern Ukraine. Satellite footage shows the hospital before and after the attack.
Mothers and fathers and grandmothers and grandfathers protecting not just their children or their grandchildren or their home or their community, but literally protecting democracy itself from a murderous dictator who I said weeks ago had no regard for human life, and he proved it in a gross, gruesome, horrific way yesterday when he bombed a maternity ward.
Senator Bob Casey spoke with us following that attack.
I'm not a war crimes investigator, but that is a war crime. There's no other way to say it. And he should be investigated and prosecuted for that, in addition to the horror that he's bringing to the Ukrainian people.
The senator is praising the bravery of the Ukrainian people and their leader, President Volodymyr Zelensky, who the senator remotely met with a few days ago.
You hear from him directly about what this fight is about, how he has not just personalized this fight by putting his own life at risk every minute of every day since this war started, and frankly, long before the war started, to tell the Ukrainian people, I'm staying, I'm going to fight, literally in the fight himself. I don't think there's an example in recent history of one leader being so courageous and in some ways manifesting and personifying the courage and the determination of his own people.
And now for an update across the territory, USVI public schools will return to in-person learning on Monday. As COVID-19 cases decline across the nation and territory, Governor Albert Bryan announced that students across the territory can head back into the classroom for in-person learning 5 days a week. Students in the virtual program will continue to learn virtually right now. Masks are still required to be worn at bus stops, on school buses, on campus, and in all classrooms. Safety protocols will continue to be enforced on all school campuses. An exciting new event will take place on St. Croix this weekend. TSG Foundation has announced their first annual St. Croix Cross Island Challenge will take place this weekend, Friday through Sunday. It is a bike ride for charity, and all proceeds will benefit 2 different local cancer support organizations, including a breast cancer foundation and Ribbons for a Cure. There are 25, 40, and 80-mile routes. Registration is $100, and you can register or donate by heading on over to cyclevi.org. Also this weekend in St. Croix, a St. Patrick's Day parade will take place ahead of this holiday next week. This is known to be one of the greatest days on St. Croix that dates all the way back to 1969, and it's, of course, the greenest tradition on the island. The St. Patrick's Day Committee has already received a lot of donations and vendors for the big event on Saturday. The parade kicks off at 11 a.m. sharp on Christiansted Street. And there's more evidence that something sitting at the bottom of the sea could be the key to reducing harmful gases in the atmosphere. CBS' Riley Carlson reports the latest from London.
Workers use boats instead of tractors for this harvest down under. The special red crop they're picking is Asparagopsis seaweed. When mixed into livestock feed, Australian researchers say it can reduce the methane in a cow's gut by up to 98%. So when that happens, it's less harmful for the environment.
We know that cattle need around 50 grams per day fed to them in order for methane to be reduced. So if we think just in terms of the dairy herd here in Australia, there's 1.5 million cows.
In Ireland, it's more than 7 million cows. With the largest per capita output of methane in Europe, the island is trying other seaweed varieties to feed not just cattle, but sheep too.
We are trying to get to by 2030 is to actually reduce methane by 30%.
In the U.S., nearly 5% of greenhouse gas emissions come from livestock. A study from the University of California, Davis found the seaweed slows an enzyme in the digestive system that contributes to methane production, meaning seaweed may end up being the secret ingredient to cleaner air. Riley Carlson, CBS News.
And more than 90 countries, including the U.S., made that pledge to cut methane emissions by 30% at last year's COP26 climate summit in Scotland.